just talk about the day because I think some of you guys were shocked with the day, and I thought I did a decent job explaining that most likely we're going to stay within the area till JPOW comes around, right? And that happened around 1:30. They had this huge spike, and typically, I'm really cautious on how much size I have, and I was pretty much done for the day here because it was a two-way sided activity till we got to 1:30. So if you look at the price action, it was basically dancing in the levels that we had. Let me just turn on the streamer mode because it's 1 second. By the time I find this now.
Glitching again?
No, I'm just trying to figure out this. Yeah, I just keep hearing. Yeah, I just. All right, sorry, I found it. Yeah. So we had this value area, right? And then we opened right here below it, right? And that indicated that there is some bearishness, right? Because that means that you'd be rejecting this value that was previously created here, prior date, correct? Everyone following? Then you went below it, right? And then you reclaimed that level. And then, of course, there were some levels that we had to go above that, and we did. So some of you guys were confused, and I'm not sure where I messed up. It was probably me, but on the levels, we talked about the M spike, which came in at 86. You guys remember that? We said if they're able to reclaim that, high chance we're going to be running a little bit. And here's the bottom level that we said on the M period, which was all the way down, right? So this was here at 54, which we rejected a few times. Everybody ring a bell so far?
Yep.
And then we said that we had another setup period on single prints in the D period. You guys recall this?
Yep.
And we had 51.26 and 115, which matched the value area high on the TPO. And then during the day, I even wrote there's a high chance that we look above here, right? And that we potentially would fail. And then when you look at the charts right here, right? So if you just, let's turn on the RTH for a moment so you guys can actually see the candles. Go 15 minutes. Takes a little bit on TradingView now to get this. That's why I like this, honestly, guys. It just doesn't take much. It just stays there. By the time these are loaded, you have to adjust constantly like this. So now if you look at this, right, they went above the value area high, and this is where they came, guys. I mean, look where they rejected. They hit 51.2675. Our level was that they're going to most likely go here. And we know if they're able, do you guys recall that 27 to 53 level at all? Does anyone ring a bell?
Yep. Yeah, you mentioned it like 3 days in a row, I think.
Yep. So my expectation is if they were able to hold this value area high at 16, that there's a high chance that they can then turn around, right? If they did this and hit the 53 and go on. But as soon as they cracked above this, and then they, this is a massive, nasty candle here on 15 minutes, I would say. The setup was more bearish than bullish, right? I did take the short at something like 1575. I was able to catch about 17 points, and then they caught a bounce, right? Not a lot of traders can you hold 1 ES or 2 ES contracts. If you're up 15 points on 2 ES contracts, I would be stupid not to take that money off the table. If I had, let's say 3 MES, could I take this down, or 5 MES, whatever the lower size is for you? Take that and run 1 MES down here. If you took, let's say 15, 10 points on MES would not hurt you much. And you give it space potentially to recover. And then I also wrote in the chat that we were building what type of profile throughout the day. We were building a B shape and then we popped. That's a short cover rally. And does anyone remember that I wrote that in the chat? Did you guys see it?
Yes.
So it was a clear short cover rally that they are trying to pump this higher, right? And then when you check the volume, here's your volume, right? So you have this massive sell-off, and then comes 345, really big volume here, and it validates. And then look at this candle here. It has above average volume, but then what happened to the auction? If you're trying to find new buyers higher, and there's not enough interest in it and a volume, that's a big concern. Because you should be auctioning much higher if you're aggressively buying it, right? If you're really interested in a product, that price is just not going to drop if there's a high demand for it. And here they're showing you, hey, there's a little bit of a slowdown, and immediately, as soon as they cracked back inside, they pretty much executed 80% up, and then they reversed it and all the way down. So now for tomorrow, what do you guys want to see? Who wants to take a stab at it? I'll give you this view. It might be more telling. What do you guys want to see?
From
I
what
guess,
see, it looks like we're at a pretty important support level, at least
Okay.
from what I can see from the TBO.
Yep. I mean, we are at an important level, right? We talked about the support being here, where we are in 2-day balance. We're kind of cracking inside of it, right? We had that 37 level. I removed a lot of my charts, so I believe I deleted everything. But we had that 37 level. Do you guys recall what that was? You guys remember the VPOC at 37?
yes, so we hit it to the penny and then went right back up. That was crazy.
So if you go on ETH, here's your VPOC, and it came 37.75. Let me not cheat. We came back down and we hit it. So now this is fairly, is pretty clear, right? If you want to turn bullish, what do you have to do in terms of value here?
Spend some more time
Get
here.
Get above today's value area high and stay above it.
I mean, ideally, you want to reject the value that you're building here, right? You don't want to, if you spend a lot of time here, what would that mean in terms of price and acceptance and the price level? What would that mean? I mean,
They're accepting value lower now.
they're accepting value lower. They were here, and then they went and they accepted it here. They traded pretty much here the whole day. Besides that spike, they went above. They're like, okay, never mind, come back down. So now if they can't breach this level, what would you guys expect to see?
Today's
What?
poor high will be fixed.
Say what?
See, if they breach 74, we have a poor high today, right? So they will try to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a lowercase b, right? Poor highs are more, a higher probability to fix on what profile?
Uppercase B.
P
Anyone else?
profile.
So let's think logically, right? When you have, I'll just draw here for a second. If you have a B profile, that means you most likely had some kind of liquidation or some selling, right? You are not interested in trading in this area, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
In P shape, you are not interested in lower prices, so you pushed it up and then they trade here and we have a chance to go higher. And then in the D shape, if you leave a poor high or this, usually D shapes don't carry a super wide balance. When they're consolidating, that the levels become tighter, and 80% rules work better on on D shapes, and poor highs and poor lows work better on D shapes because they don't have to travel a lot. for this to reverse and fix this poor high, it might not happen today. Does that make sense? Because it has to find a lot new buyers at the levels they were not interested trading. Does that add up?
Yeah, that's really helpful.
So you want to be aware of that, Sunny. Just because it's a poor high doesn't mean we're coming back to it. And then, if you turn this on, if you just look at the initial balance, right, for a moment here, I'm just going to go right here. So here's your initial balance. They did what in initial balance today? How would you, here, let me go RTH so you guys can see it. How would you, if somebody asked you, hey, how did we do today initial balance? How did we do today?
Very tight.
Very tight. It created the B basically.
Okay, and was that expected?
No.
You guys did not expect a tight IB today?
I did.
Yeah, into the
That was
news.
news.
I said, hey,
Yes.
you're most likely going to have this, right? And I said, I'm going to trade till 10:30 and I'm going to walk away. So I would say for most part, you expected it because when you're awaiting news market, right? Price discovery, what do I say if you want to, do you really want to do price discovery yourself? Your goal is not to be, when we're trading in a range like this, your job is not to be buying here on the breakouts. Because once you're above value or IB, a responsive activity kicks in and they bring the price back, then a response. I don't know how many times I took this short today at these levels and wrote it down to the bottom, went up at 44 higher. I'll have to check, but I did ride it a few times today. And that's because I was aware of what they're trying to do the whole day. And it was a two-sided activity of a short-term traders. But then when this kicked in, there was a lot of gambling happens. And what I mean by that, a lot of people blow up their accounts. And you know why? Man, we went up so high, this would be a good stop here. And you start tricking your brain and saying, man, this is where we have to stop. And then you go short and you're like, oh, that's okay. I'll add a little bit more. And then you add a little bit more and they go a little bit more. And then you add a little bit more and they go higher and you blow up your account. You really have no business trading above these value highs until you see some confirmation. For instance, even on candles, let's say 30 minutes, you have this indecision candle on the top wick, bottom wick, and then this broke here. That's not a bad level, right? 99 at that point, the 99 also had single prints today. I did mention them to you guys when we were trading. I said most likely they're going to go to 99 and do what? Did I say they're going to bounce at 99?
Bounce. Yes, you did.
And they bounce. I said if they lose 99, then there's a high chance you're going to fill all of that. And of course, they did that. But you have to have a story and you have to see what they're trying to do. Like, they're pushing higher, they're getting rejected on the previous day value. And if that's the case, then the opposite is going to attract it. Because when you go higher, especially for new folks, what are you doing? Why do we auction higher? What do we search for? We're searching for what?
Sellers.
You're searching for sellers. And when you go down, you're searching for buyers. And your job as a trader is to join or anticipate where they might be and see how do we react to those levels. It's not to just be like, okay, we got there. Could you have shorted 51.26? I shorted 80. I shorted 86 and a half. I was up $300. I turn around, literally, maybe. I just turned because I believe my son came from school. I turned around, stopped for negative $400. I was up 300, negative 400. That's a pretty big swing in my eyes, right? I could have pocketed 300, but instead I ended up losing $400 on a trade. And that's focus, that's being ready for it and anticipating. Then, a little bit of human greed. You're like, oh man, 86 big level. We're going to reject more. This is a small one. Then immediately they burst through it. And then, you catch a stop loss with some slippage and that hurts. A lot of you guys want to trade. You have to define if you're a better trader on on some of you guys want to trade both sides. Trading both sides takes a little bit more experience, in my opinion, than I'm going to be a guy that plays the trend and I'm going to play the bounces in that trend. I'm going to be a long trader. There's a lot of people that I know, at least a handful, that are just long traders. They don't short the market. They literally just wait for their long opportunities. You don't have to play both sides. If you're better at one side, when you look at what you're doing in terms of trade log, if you're better long, then wait for your long opportunities. You don't have to, and some of you might not be quick enough to realize, today I switched from long to short, short to long, maybe 7 to 8 times. I posted it in a chat to show you that the speed that you have to read the market that's generating information to you has to happen so quick, guys. Because if you don't take the money when you have these scalps and opportunities, don't worry, somebody else will. It's a zero-sum game. And a lot of you are anticipating these massive wins that, and you'll end up playing against yourself eventually and causing pain to yourself because you're seeking to become, you know, somebody that you're not ready to become yet. Okay, so slow down a little bit, read the market, and price and value. Is the price accepting or rejecting? And I don't post in the chat like when I posted earlier today, high, look above and fail on PD value area high. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I tried to post it to be clear. I don't post that just to, you know, send you a meme and a picture. I post it so that way you guys can actually start realizing at least what I'm looking for. I'm looking for them to go above, and if they fail, that's bearish. And it's also on a PowerPoint slide, outlines like a couple of rules about that. So you have to start applying some principles of what you know about the value, acceptance, rejections to your trading. Okay, all right, enough of blah, blah. So for tomorrow, you know, what I would love to see, ideally, if we can crack 74, which is on the volume, great. When you look at this area that we were before, right, 86 to this level, is it important, you know, where we are? Yeah, I mean, I would say it's important because we rejected that you know, distribution higher. If we can crack above this level of 86 and seek the acceptance in the top distribution, that would be extremely bullish in my opinion, right? There's a high chance you would have an opportunity, you know, to trade potentially all the way to value area high, which would be 116. So I'm looking to see if we can go above 74, let's say in a quarter. And then ultimately I would target above this, I would target somewhere close to the previous day value area high, which is 116 to 118. And there's some single prints there. Considering that there is single prints, and we'll have to see which period, L period single prints. Now you go here, M period, all, you know, it's framing down. And you can see this a little bit better when you split it. No, they really destroyed the M period. Okay, so for the bears, what should they not lose tomorrow?
50-53.
50-53, you said?
50-50 or 50-53, yeah.
Okay.
50-38.
50-38 is a pretty important level, right? If your PDL, which is set at 42 and 38, if I was to play either one of these levels, right, I would not consider, you know, shorting at 42, knowing that 38 potentially is there, which is our VPOC, right? In terms of value, when you think about this, does it really make a difference for me? Well, if you think about this, this is the value area low of the day that we are looking, and it's sitting at 40.5. And if you look a little bit here, there's some access here that's sitting at 50.26. So that would be a level that I would want to know if we do crack, let's say, this value area low here at 50.40, you could definitely target 26, and that would be something I'm looking, you know, to play. And when you think about where we are in terms of couple of days now, I would say almost 2 weeks, and tomorrow being Thursday, let me just turn this on for a moment. Why are so many people bearish here? The trend is bearish, right? We still have weekly lower highs, lower lows. Did we put in a lower low yet here?
No,
No.
but it's May, so that's the other psychological
No,
factor.
no, of course, yeah, and we talked about that, right? I know it's May, and I told you my plan for stocks. I do plan on offloading some, but there's no reason yet to be extremely bearish, buying tons of puts. This is a 3-week balance that we're in, guys, right? So, and now you have developing POC and the previous week value area low at, what is this, 50, call it 54. So if you're, if you're a bear, you want to see this being rejected. Because this would mean, there's a higher chance that you're probably going to be testing somewhere around 38 all the way to 43. But are you really willing to short here? Who's willing to short all in 53 to 38? Not many? Nobody wants it?
Not enough risk reward. You got to take it from the top and get down.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
not enough reward, guys. I'm not looking to be extremely short here, right? Even though the market, the sentiment, the bonds, the data that we are seeing is bearish, but that doesn't warrant that, the price action is accepting that. Now we're seeing the value area highs dipping lower, right? The POC is definitely there, right? You see the POCs here, it's shifting lower, value area low shifted lower. So in terms of week to week, we're looking a little bit weaker because previous week here shifted higher, the POC was about the same, but now a little bit changed. So tomorrow, if the bulls are able to, let's say, hold this level that happens to be now the first sig here at 38, if they're able to hold this tomorrow, that's pretty good news. But let's say if they do this tomorrow, right? They dip, they hit 25, then they bounce, and then they do one of these. Don't write this off. Do not write this off that they can do this. You saw them today rip heads, right? I mean, they exploded today on, I don't even know what news. What did J-Pow say that warranted the pump?
He just opened his mouth.
Exactly. So the market can move a couple of $1 trillion in market cap, just irrational behavior, and that's okay, right? And your job is really to understand what is market telling you. Right now, the market's in balance. It's in a 3-week balance, and these are your extremes. The top extreme is here. The bottom extreme is at 38. If we are able to reject this, right, below 38 here, I would say things are going to change a little bit, and most likely we got downside targets printing, right? So right now, you're just in a 3-week balance, right? And I wouldn't treat it any other way than that, because a lot of people just start freaking out. We're going to go down, we're going down, but really, we haven't gone anywhere. I mean, to me, this is just bracketed market. It's in a bearish trend right now, in a weekly bearish trend, bracketed market. But just look to your left, right? When you look at these values, we are still trading within a previous zone that we consolidated before. It wasn't clean breakouts, but there's still a little bit of value here. And then if you look, if you zoom in on some of these, right, I'll just go RTH. Right, so look at this week right here. I mean, you have a weekly VPOC if you need targets below. You have a weekly at 49.80, a really interesting level. And look at this here. You guys see this? Why are we spending so much time in here?
Fill it up.
Fill it up, guys. There was a massive gap here. I don't know if you guys remember, but this was a massive 42 points gap. And now we're just trading in between here. Here's your 50-10. They came and now they're filling this bad boy up. And then when you zoom out, right? So you're basically saying from here to here, it's creating a massive balance. Is that correct?
Mhm.
And here's your levels, right? So here's your first sig, I would say, what is this, February 9th? So almost, what, 3 months right here. And you have your extreme all the way at the top. So now, let's say if they're able to crack above this 5101, where's your potential, right? What do you think they want to do next? If they're able to crack and build value above this 5101, call it. I'll probably draw a small zone here, just like something like this. The path of least resistance would most likely be triggering higher. Okay, so look at the picture, ignore the news, ignore what people are suggesting, and know what you're playing. A lot of people are turning bearish, but right now we are in a 3-week balance. Until this balance is broken, I don't see any bearishness. So you need to show me initiative that you want to go below. Once you crack this level of 38, I would believe it, right? And then you have this 510, which is a 3-month sig one that's sitting. I would be somewhat careful here trying to short this. Okay. Devrav Patel. Okay. So for me, I really want to see us above 74 tomorrow. And then ultimately, there's a high chance we go to this mid here. I would target somewhere 95, trim most of it. But once you're entering this 101 zone, I'd be somewhat careful. Until we crack this zone, I'm not looking really for too many long opportunities. Go above, come back, then we'll look for long opportunities. But please know where your weekly levels are, right? Right now your weekly low that's developing is at 43. If you can hold above 53, 53.75, is it bearish? Which would be this week's POC and the prior week value area low. Is that bearish? I tell you,
No.
we are above previous week value area low and this week's POC. Do you think you're bearish or bullish?
That's more bullish.
Bullish.
It's bullish. So please treat it like that, right? You're looking at levels, and that happens to be the VPOC for today at 54.5. So I would definitely treat it like that, and then you can have the levels identified here. You have 86. Obviously today it was ignored. That's where I got destroyed for $400. So I'm not sure how much importance is going to be tomorrow, even though this got filled today on that 2 crazy candles. So, but let's see. Hold 53, you hit 74, you lose 53.75. High chance that you're going to probably visit this 42.75.
Shorty, you're using RTY and TPO for
That's
levels, and I've been charting weekly off volume profile for forever and a day. I mean, my value low is at 50.71, and you're down at 50.40. I mean, it's like way different.
Yep. And if you switch it, right? So if I look at this same way, if I switch here to the weekly and I stay on this, it should probably print the same level that I had developing weekly. So it's off by 2 points on RTH, on volume profile, and TPO. I'm honestly getting tired and confused of myself of switching between ETH and RTH. So now I'm just more and more on RTH myself. I haven't
Even
seen,
during the day?
well, during the day I'm on cash session.
Especially, yeah.
Yeah, so that's RTH. The reason why being is lately, I mean, if I go back to ETH and you look at the volume, right? And you can run from yahoo.com, you can run some and see the ETH volume. It's not really been significant at all. there's not much volume that's coming in. There's no orders. If you look at the volume, it's pretty dead. It's all RTH sessions that's hitting.
I mean, the only reason I say is when I look at the volume profile for the forming week, it's very balanced on the top and the bottom.
Are you saying like a double distro or?
Yeah, take a look at the forming weekly.
No,
This week forming. See how that's like almost equal proportions.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, so you're talking about, this being 73.25 is your value area low, which is R. PD value area high. In this case, just luck, right? It actually is luck. I'm not being sarcastic. So if it's above that, that's where I'm turning bullish. And on your ETH, that's where the value area low is for the weekly, right?
Right.
So, and in this case, if you look at previous week value area low, 3 points will not kill me. And typically myself, I also look at volume profile on the weekly timeframes. The only reason why I look at TPO on the weekly during RTH is I want to know if there's any LVNs and if there's any distributions being split by single print. So
Yeah.
the only other thing that bothers me is constantly remembering that I'm being dyslexic, switch between ETH, between RTH.
So I don't, and what I use is I use the TPO for the session, and I specify the session to only chart the day sessions.
Yeah, you will have to show me how to do all that. But
It's the session, time, price, opportunity.
Oh, okay.
And then what you do is you specify custom and you set it up for New York and you set the time to be 9:30 to whatever it is, 1:15 or something. And it will duplicate that, and then you could have your full ETH volume profile and your TPOs based off RTY time frame.
That's actually a good idea. That would probably make my life easier a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what I thought.
Okay. I think that makes sense. Okay. So I will definitely watch this, right? If we're able to clean this, let's say previous week value area low, I'm not even sure where we are at the moment.
I got a question, Shorty. We have, it's not single print. It's almost like double prints, but the way they moved through it so fast.
I knew
you know what I'm talking about.
Ask. Well, that's why I said they filled this.
Yes, so
right?
77 to 86 is yesterday's range, but realistically, all the way up to 98, and from like 76 to 98, to me, almost would be single prints.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, so
even though it's double print, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of.
The only thing is, when I looked at this today, this is where I took the short today. At 86, right? I took a short and I really got aggravated a little bit because if you go on smaller time frames, you'll see how that went above, right? So it went above and then it came back a little bit, but I got destroyed. And I was like, well, I thought that was a pretty important zone, but it seems like obviously the news did not care for it. And then we tried to defend it a little bit on the way down, which didn't, it made no sense to me. Right.
That's why I did SPXs. I did an SPX up top.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah.
But I did
catch the move from the top, but not a lot. I think I got maybe 16 or 17 points, 16 and some change.
I picked up for 260 a put that went all the way up to $4,500.
Well, hold on, 4,500.
It went to 4,500. Went to $45. 4,500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow, that's insane.
It was the 50.65.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Unfortunately, I didn't hold it that long.
That is pretty good. All right, guys. Well, we'll hop off. I will see you guys tomorrow, and I think tomorrow is going to be. I'm not sure news-wise what we have, but it could be the day that we drive out of this, 3-week balance. Probably this week, right? We tried to push higher, we're getting rejected. You saw the weekly value shifting a little bit. And if that's the case, maybe if we get some initiation here, that we will break this range that we've been in for now.
Do you think we
but
need to relieve up to like about a 14% drop total?
I
to
think we
relieve
need
this?
to go to 2200, but yeah.
2200?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a drop.
I mean,
Yeah.
you say that, but we also appreciate it since October quite a bit.
Election year, 2008. I mean, could be.
I mean, you went up 51% since October. I mean, I'm not asking for much, I guess.
2200's a lot. It's over 50%
Well,
drop.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not
What you're
asking
saying?
for
Drop 2,200 points?
No, 2200. That's, I mean, I want it to go here. I would be interested in them revisiting 3300, find the middle of this somewhere, and we settle on this price being good, probably 2800 right here. That would be the ideal level for my, at least, cash to be utilized. Look at the PUSD. I mean, this would be a really good level to go, you know. At least I would release some of my cash on from 401ks, Roth, in here. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I mean, what are you talking? Like end of 25?
The timing aspect, man, that's difficult, right? I would be predicting and guessing, and then you can be like, "Oh, you missed it," and I'm not trying to
Right.
predict. My goal when I buy shares, and you guys have probably seen it, I wait. And I wait, right? I mean, Pfizer, I've waited for some time to get to this point, and I'm still waiting. If it hits this zone here, I would re-add quite a bit. Man, it seems like they had some kind of good earnings. I was hoping that they would plummet. But never mind. They went higher. They swept this high, so I'm looking to see if they're willing to go to this zone on the bottom. We had AMD. We waited. We had Zscaler. I typically like to wait a little bit more, and Zscaler's coming. Just FYI, Zscaler's coming up.
Now, you said you've been trading Zscaler for 9 years on and off?
No, that was NVIDIA.
Oh.
Yeah, not Zscaler. I fucked up on Zscaler when they went IPO, man.
Oh, are they're relative? Is that when they went?
Yeah.
Recently? Oh, okay.
See the dyno. One of my friends who's a CIO was talking about it here. We actually had drinks that day, and he's like, they had an earnings actually. It dropped somewhere here. He's like, this is a great price, and we're literally drinking beers, and he puts in like almost $280,000 order for it, and I'm like, man, you're fucking crazy. And he's like, don't worry, it's just gonna
crazy like a fox, right?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, 280,000 on a single stock is quite a bit, and ever since, I mean, it fucking 1000%, he made a lot of money on that.
Shorty, can you quickly check SBUX?
Which one?
Starbucks.
Oh, yeah. I think Starbucks coming to monthly bottom.
You're doing a stock scan over the weekend, right? I think it
Yeah.
was this weekend.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We are. Well, I like Starbucks, but I don't know if I like it here, but let's see. It's coming up to a level. I thought it was 66 in our stock scan that we wanted. It's gonna bounce here. Yeah, it's gonna bounce here. Were the earnings that bad?
A big sell off there.
Well, that's fucking bad. That's a lot of coffee missing. Man, do you guys see that volume though?
Wow.
Holy shit.
One of that.
Wow. Wow, that we haven't seen that since 2018.
Yeah, which was a good time to buy right there.
Yeah, I thought, no, it was 56, sorry, not 66. I will, I mean, I'll take a chance on it. I'll miss the opportunity. If that's the case. I'll wait, even though they have good dividends too, and they're a cash cow, so. I'll wait, but I did get starter pack on the Intel, right? And I know they have a little bit lower to go.
Mhm.
If I can get it somewhere around this level, 28.46, I'll be interested in getting it again.
Oh, I got,
Got 280 shares or somewhere around there.
a lot of the reason why it's been going down is they have like 12,000 employees over in Israel. And I guess the stuff that's been happening over there recently, that's what's helping drive the price down, is they employ like a really large population of Israel.
Wow.
So it might be
Yes,
getting in
China
cheaper.
instructed to replace, Intel chips by 2026 or 7. That's one of the major driver for last few days.
Well, say that again.
Yeah, and Chinese official media have reported this that Intel chips needs to be replaced by local Chinese chips. That's one
Yeah,
of the big reasons.
yeah, it's been banned in China, or they're banning them slowly in China.
Yeah, they were in the news today.
They've got a couple things they're working out right now, but I mean, it's
I just wonder if they're gonna start competing with NVIDIA and any of the,
I like
the
how they,
cheap
Well,
GPUs.
NVIDIA doesn't make chips, and Intel's, there were talk about them possibly making NVIDIA chips and AMD chips with their growth if they expand and build a facility.
I don't
But
think
I don't know.
America will allow this company to fail. That's just my few cents.
yeah,
I don't believe it will either. I have a lot of it.
yeah, they are manufacturing, or they're building a manufacturing plant. It's called the Foundry in America. So that's, I mean, it's
Of
good
Mhm.
news,
course,
but
man.
short
I'm telling
term.
you, I'm gonna be buying this, and if it hits 29, if it goes to 24.75, we had this level of, I don't know if you guys, whoever was here in the Discord, but I missed the opportunity to buy it in 25-ish.
That's where I
I
got
was
mine.
waiting for this to go below and catch it here. And that never happened on this. Usually when I buy stocks, I think of this, right? Do I buy the stock as it's going down here? Or when it stops, bottoms, do I buy here? Which one do you buy?
The second one.
I typically buy the first and the second.
Well, it depends how you treat it, right? Some people do the dollar cost average, and that's what I did here with this one, right? Because we went above, now we're coming back. So for me, you're coming back here, and I'm looking to see, I mean, this is a major POC. I don't even know what time frame. So 2 years. POC, you're coming up to a level, even options on this, honestly, 3 years out. I mean, look how quickly they went to 50, man. That's double the money just on equity, right? On stock. So I'm really interested in this, guys. Like right here,
Yeah,
even if
it
you
has a
go
good
back to
dividend too.
time, oh yeah, man. That chip act that they have, I am pretty certain it has a lot to do with Intel.
Yeah, it does. At least 7 or 8 billion was granted to them.
Yeah. So, and if I could catch this at 20, yeah, I will buy it. It'll be a decent buy. But here's your pretty much all-time volume here. So if they can reclaim, let's say they reclaim 31, that would mean that they're accepting higher prices. But this distribution here was pretty strong though.
Yeah.
So now they got to figure out, right? They accumulated here, they're sending it. So let's see. The only thing is, you look at this here. Let's look at it on 3 days. Volume picking up, yeah, some small wicks, and then above average volume and really, really tiny body here. So either we flush here or potentially going to catch a bounce. Because this was our previous zone, right? We accumulated here, we're coming back, and there's the shelf that we're kind of looking to see. If they fail here, I can absorb $5 loss on my shares. Because I'm not willing, to sell it anytime soon. And we'll do a stock scan this Saturday for newer people. I do monthly and then I also do quarterly and I share the stock purchases, what I'm looking to buy. We scan, some of the, I don't know how many stocks we go through, maybe 100 on a scan. And I usually pick, from the litter, I pick about 5. Unless I already have them in my portfolio, I pick 5, 6, and I kind of release some or just add more cash and buy the stocks that I believe are good. And then it's up to you guys if you want to do the same based on your own research and follow. Okay.
Can't wait.
And let me just check ES actually, because it might be setting up for a short overnight if it failed that.
Yeah, I was wondering if this is a short right here, even on ES, because this is testing the bottom of the value area forming for me.
Yeah, let's see if they give us this right here tonight. I want this.
Oh, you want to look above, huh? 72, 73? Okay.
See what they do. It might be a good short overnight though.
Yeah, let's leave a limit order there.
Well, you want to see this. And this is your overnight session. See if they come back to 64, you see how well they did this here. If they can come back here, they can dance inside of this area and play there.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be really interesting to see what they do. But I'll watch this, see what they have. Maybe leave an order like a stop sell, maybe 72-ish, 72 and a half, and see what they do.
I got a question on today when we were going up on ES. When we went up to the 26 and it failed to do the 27 to 53 range.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider that 27 to 53 has been cleaned up, or do you think it still holds a significance?
That's a good question. I still think it does hold significance because that's where you're not able to, we haven't been able to clean that value. I mean, if you go here, here's your 52 level that we talked about shorting not too long ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
We said you're not able to crack it. There's a lot of weakness and they're not able to separate the value here. So they're really not able to crack this at all. So until they decide that the value needs to shift higher, I
So that
can't be fighting
kind
them.
of cleaned it up, sort of. I mean, I don't know.
They did, but just zoom out, right? And look at this,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
if you just go here and look at it this way. So here's your lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low.
It's
and
still
then
a
they're
structure.
stopping
Oh,
here.
it's a structure. So it has to break above and hold because that's also resistance. What was support?
That's correct.
I gotcha.
So
Yep.
look now,
Okay.
58 to 25. I'm sorry,
Yep.
58 to 52. That's a pretty big zone. It was support, 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 support.
Yep.
And this.
First resistance.
Remember, we also had that HVN, like this one here, that was a 2-day value area high. You guys remember when we talked about, I think it was Sunday, if they're able to crack that level that we talked about, 51.27, that they're going to trade in this range here, but they failed, right? So now if they can get back inside, they're going to build value. They're going to find happy buyers, sellers in this area here. So unless they are able to find initiative buyers to get us out of this, yeah, I still think it matters.
And that's the reason I shorted today, because I was thinking it mattered, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. And on TradingView, I don't know if you guys got the message or not. I can share it with you guys. I don't know if it's premium accounts. I don't know what they're doing. They have a challenge now. They've sent it to a lot of people. I don't know if you guys got it or not, where you can make like $25,000 if you finish first.
I think it's 45,000.
Yeah, 45.
Maybe it's 45. So I did enroll on that, but I didn't take any trades today on it. I probably should have, but I didn't read the rules. I didn't read what happens, but it might be not a bad opportunity for some of you. I'm in it, but I haven't taken trades. So I did enable it. I have to figure out where do I go and how do it just popped up when I was clicking on a chart, but I'm not really sure what the guidelines are on trading it. I don't know if it's for a year or how long, but it might be good for some of you if you do have TradingView for potentially to enroll it, right? Because it would be good if it's $45,000. That's I would say that's a lot of cash for winning a challenge. So if you have an email, I would definitely look at it from TradingView, see if you can enroll and do that. Free money if you win. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that'll be it tomorrow for me. I will see you guys tomorrow morning.
Thanks, Shorty.
Thanks, Shorty.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Night.